I broke up with my boyfriend for his extravagant spending. My sister started dating him and got a beach house. Turns out he stole millions from his late Uncle Hay. So about 2 weeks ago, I, 27F, broke up with my boyfriend, Leo, 28M, who I'd been with for a year. My sister Rachel, 24F, has now started dating him. I've basically been like a parent to Rachel since our folks passed away when I was 16 and she had just turned 13. They were coming back from a party late at night when a truck hit them, and that was it. We moved in with our aunt after that. She tried her best but was often busy with work, so it was mostly just me and Rachel. I became super protective of her. When I turned 18, I started working, and Rachel eventually moved in with me to finish her degree. For the past 3 years, we've both been working and living separately since her job is far from where I live. I never went to college because I wanted to start earning and didn't want to be a burden on my aunt, even though she never made us feel that way. I worked numerous jobs, and 2 years ago, I finally started my own business with some school friends. We run a clothing line that's doing moderately well, but we're aiming higher. Rachel got a degree in economics and works as an accountant. I met Leo through some friends. He works in advertising. Financially, we were all doing okay. But about 3 months ago, Leo started splurging on expensive gifts and luxury items, which confused me because there was no way he could afford them on his salary. He claimed he got a promotion, but I didn't buy it. My suspicions grew stronger when he bought a new car and a vacation home on the beach. There was no way all this came cheap. I confronted him about it several times, but he stuck to his story about the promotion. Still not convinced, I contacted some of his co-workers about 2 weeks ago. They were surprised. I reached out, as I wasn't close to them, but they revealed that Leo hadn't received any promotion and had actually been slacking off at work. This confirmed that something was definitely off. I invited Leo over to my place to talk, and he got defensive, accusing me of trying to embarrass him by reaching out to his co-workers. He tried to gaslight me into thinking I was paranoid, but I knew something was up. I told him I couldn't be with him anymore, suspecting he was involved in something shady. We broke up and he was upset, thinking I had crossed a line by contacting his co-workers. But I just needed to be sure I wasn't in a relationship with someone doing illegal stuff. The day we broke up, I was really down and didn't tell anyone right away. The next day, I woke up to a bunch of texts from Rachel. Apparently, Leo had contacted her right after our breakup and invited her to the vacation home, saying he wanted to gift it to her to show how serious he was about her. He confessed that breaking up with me made him realize he had feelings for Rachel. He didn't want to lose her, so he reached out to her immediately. Long story short, they're now together. Rachel admitted she'd always had a thing for Leo but never acted on it because he was my boyfriend. Now that we were over, she thought it was okay to date him. In all her texts, there was no mention of why Leo and I broke up, so clearly he hadn't told her the real reason that I suspected he was involved in shady stuff. I called Rachel right away because, even though I was annoyed, I didn't want her to get caught up in anything bad. So my sister decided to hook up with my ex-boyfriend just a day after we broke up. I felt like I had to warn her about the kind of guy he was since, well, she's my sister. I called her up and started explaining why Leo and I ended things, but she shut me down right away. Apparently, Leo had already convinced her that I was just jealous and trying to break them up. He told her not to believe anything I said because he claimed I wanted him back. She cut me off before I could even get to the reasons behind our breakup. I tried to explain a few times during the call, but she kept interrupting me. At first, we were trying to be polite, but then she snapped and started yelling. She said she understood that I was upset about her dating my ex right after our breakup, but they liked each other and weren't going to let me ruin things. She even suggested that I was just jealous because she won the lottery by being with him. I lost it and told her she was acting like a sellout because Leo had promised her the vacation home he bought. I warned her that she'd face the consequences herself and said I was done trying to help. Then I hung up and blocked both of them. A few days later, she sent me some photos from the vacation home, even creating a fake account to do it. I was really upset because Rachel and I were super close, especially after our parents passed away. But now, she was choosing a vacation home and my ex over me. It was heartbreaking, and I couldn't even go to work for a few days. Eventually, I got back to my routine and tried not to think about them. Then, yesterday, Rachel finally reached out. She used her friend's phone to call me because I had her blocked. She was crying and asked if we could talk. I didn't really want to, but she was sobbing so hard that I agreed just to end the call. When I got home from work, she was waiting at my door, crying. She said Leo was involved in some fraud, faking documents to get his late uncle's assets. One of his cousins found the real will, which divided everything among the nieces and nephews. Now Leo was being investigated, and since he had just transferred the vacation home to Rachel, she was under scrutiny too. Rachel was scared of going to jail and needed my help. She wanted me to testify in court that she had no idea how Leo got his money. It was the least I could. "Will do," she said. I was going to help, but I felt like she was taking me for granted, so I told her I'd think about it. She was shocked, saying I was being petty because she was at risk of jail. I said I was serious, and she blamed me, saying if I'd told her the truth about Leo from the start, she wouldn't have dated him. She claimed I owed her help because of that. I got really mad and told her I didn't owe her anything. She threatened to tell the cops that I was with Leo until 2 weeks ago and that he gave me lots of expensive gifts. But I had already returned everything to him, so I was in the clear. We argued, and she called me names and left. I thought I was being reasonable, but my friends said I should put my feelings aside and agree to testify for her, even if I cut her off afterward. They said her situation was serious, and she probably doesn't get that I'm not trying to get back at her. You know, I feel like I should probably tell my sister that I'm going to help her out, but my friends do make a good point. Fraud is a big deal. I know I need to put aside some personal grudges for now, but honestly, she's been taking me for granted. I didn't appreciate her blaming me for the mess she's in. I tried explaining things to her multiple times, but she just kept cutting me off on the phone, saying I was jealous. I'm feeling really confused, so I told her I'd think about it when she asked if I'd testify for her in court. Update 1. Hey everyone. I read all your comments on my original post, and wow, your mixed opinions really left me confused too. I had no idea what to do or say to her until today. I decided not to say anything until she reaches out to me again. If she asks, I'll agree to help her, but I won't initiate contact. She didn't talk to me for the past 2 weeks until she was in trouble, so, I kind of want her out of jail more for our family's reputation than for her sake. I talked to my aunt about everything, and she said she'd get Rachel in touch with a good lawyer. I guess Rachel already has one, but a little extra help can't hurt, right? So, I know her situation will be managed, but emotionally, I'm stepping back. These past 2 weeks were really hurtful, and I doubt I'll ever get over that. If roles were reversed, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be able to just move on either. Anyway, if she contacts me again, I'll agree to help her out. But like my friend said, after that, I'm cutting her out of my life. It's going to be painful. I've always prided myself on being a good big sister. But she's not a baby anymore. She made her choices and they were the wrong ones. I can't in good conscience maintain the same relationship we used to have. Thanks for all your comments and support. I know some folks might be disappointed with my decision, but my mind is made up now. It's been 5 days since I last spoke to Rachel, and she hasn't reached out since. Some of you were asking about Leo, and thankfully, no. He hasn't contacted me after our breakup. He deserves that, honestly. Update 2. It's been about 8 days since Rachel visited me, and 2 days ago she went to see my aunt. Some of you in the comments mentioned that my aunt wasn't a great parental figure since I had to raise my sister on my own and missed out on college. But I want to defend her, like I said. My aunt was super busy with work when we moved in with her. She did the bare minimum, but that was still a big deal. Our grandparents live out of state, and moving in with them would have uprooted our lives. Our aunt was the only one here who could take us in, and she was focused on her career, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, maybe she wasn't the perfect parent, but she wasn't supposed to be. She took care of us when no one else could. My aunt reached out to Rachel after I explained everything to her, offering to help with a lawyer. Rachel didn't respond for a couple of days, then visited her AE and had lots to say about me, still blaming me for her predicament. My aunt tried to steer the conversation back to the lawyer and explained that it wasn't my fault. I've tried to warn Rachel about Leo several times, but she didn't want to hear it. Rachel thinks I should have texted her instead of blocking her, believing I did all this on purpose because I was mad about her and Leo. It's so ridiculous, and I was really pissed when my aunt told me all this. Rachel's obsessed with blaming me, and it's totally unfair. She was supposed to be talking to my aunt about fixing her legal problems, not about me. If she wants to blame someone, she should look at herself and maybe that guy she's so into. After hearing what Rachel said, I'm feeling unsure about helping her. I'm still on the fence about whether I'll testify for her or not. Anyway, my aunt has told me that. So my friend hooked Rachel up with one of her buddies who's a super good lawyer, so I guess Rachel's in safe hands now. This way, I don't have to feel too guilty about not wanting to support her. Honestly, it's not just about this one incident. I've been hearing from a lot of people that Rachel has been posting some pretty shady stuff about me on social media. I mean, who else could she be talking about when she posts things about manipulative and abusive family members? Does she seriously think I've been abusive to her? I can't think of a single instance where I've done anything to deserve this kind of treatment from her. A bunch of our relatives have even asked me what's up between us, but I've kept my cool and just told them we've been having issues. I bet if people start asking Rachel, she's not going to stay quiet and will try to paint me as the bad guy. It really bugs me that she's acting this way over something that's not even my fault. After talking to my aunt, I'm pretty sure Rachel was trying to get her to see whose sides, but my aunt's not easily fooled and was also really upset with how Rachel behaved during her visit. Rachel's just pushing away the people who were there for her, which is a real shame. If she could just admit she was wrong, especially about Leo, and apologize, it would make life so much easier for everyone, including herself. But I guess her pride is in the way. It sucks thinking about how much I've sacrificed for her all those fun times I missed out on because I wanted to be successful and support my sister. I don't think she even remembers that, because if she did, she'd be grateful. But you can't force gratitude. It has to come from within. If she can't see that, it says a lot about the person she's become, and honestly, I'm glad I don't have to be part of her life anymore. Update 3. I really didn't expect Rachel to reach out to me after everything she said to our aunt. Clearly, she blames me for this whole mess and isn't going to take it back. My aunt told me that the legal process has started and Rachel might get summoned to court in a couple of weeks. So far, it's just Leo involved, and all she has to do is prove she wasn't part of any of it. I guess that's why she came by today, being much nicer than last time. She brought flowers, chocolates, and an apology note. When I opened the door, she immediately said she wasn't thinking straight before and said a lot of things she didn't mean because she was in a bad mental space. She wanted me to forgive her and understand why I needed time to decide if I wanted to testify for her. She handed me the chocolates and stuff, but I gave it back to her. I told her I knew she was only here because she needed my help, not because she was genuinely sorry. I mentioned that our aunt told me everything she said during her visit, so I knew she really blamed me for her situation. I didn't need her apology. I was fine staying out of her life. I knew she didn't mean what she was saying now either. She just wanted my help. He started to get upset, but realized it wouldn't get her anywhere. She said she truly meant her apology and wanted to make things right, but if I still didn't want to testify, that was my decision, and she'd respect it. Then she left, but made sure to leave the chocolates, flowers, and note at my door. I feel kind of bad, but this is for the best. I really hope it doesn't come to the point where I have to testify for her and she gets out of this with her lawyer's help because I'm still confused about what to do. Things are just really weird right now. Update 4. Hey, so Rachel got acquitted, thank goodness. Her lawyer easily proved she had nothing to do with the fraud, and it was all on Leo. I guess Leo figured it would be smart to transfer some property to others, like he transferred his new luxury car's title to his mom to shift suspicion away from himself. I don't know what he was thinking, but he used Rachel. I'm so grateful he broke up with me when he did. Otherwise, it could have been me in her place. I'm also glad it didn't come to the point where I had to testify. No idea what's going to happen with Leo, though. He's probably going to get convicted because all the evidence is against him and his cousins are united in their stance against him. So get this, one of the folks actually reached out to me to ask if I'd be willing to testify against him if it came down to it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Because honestly, I just want him to face the music for what he did. But things haven't reached that point yet, so we'll see how it all plays out. On a brighter note, I'm super relieved that Rachel's not in hot water anymore. But, and it's a big but, that doesn't mean everything's magically cool between us. We're still not talking, which kind of sucks. She's been keeping in touch with our aunt, though. I guess she needs someone to lean on, since most of the family is giving air the cold shoulder after all those nasty posts she made about me. Everybody knew how much I bent over backwards for her and how much I did for her, so her actions really came off as ungrateful. Honestly, people didn't even need to know the nitty-gritty details to realize she was in the wrong. Anyway, it doesn't bother me if others still want to chat with her. I just want to be happy, and I genuinely want her to find happiness too. Right now, though, I just can't bring myself to reconnect with her. Maybe someday we'll be able to mend things and get back to how we used to be, but for now, it's all still too fresh for me to move past. Here's to hoping that one day everything will be okay again. Until then, I'm good on my own.